If you're struggling to build your booty, stick with it.
Yeah.
Just keep going. It's going to take time, and you have to push yourself hard.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. I'm your host, Raymond Elliott, lead personal trainer at Go Time Training in Northeast Wichita, Kansas. I've been in the fitness industry for over 20 years now, and I've seen it all. This podcast cuts through all the fads and gimmicks to give you a science-based truth on all things fitness and nutrition, so you don't have to try to figure it out on your own. If you want to live happier and healthier and get the scoop on how to work out, eat right, and keep a positive mindset, you're in the right place. It's go time. Now, let's get to the show. Welcome. So, Healthy Living Wichita, we are here, and we are with you like this? You're already laughing? We haven't even started yet. All right, we're with my wonderful host, Kelsey. I'm not going to say your last name. No. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the wonderful people out there.
I'm Kelsey Noctegal.
Yeah, Noctegal.
Lead trainer here at Go Time. This is my third podcast.
Holy moly.
I know.
Been that many already? Wow.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
I'm a popular guest here.
You are. It's because you're nearby.
That's true.
Easy to reach you.
I was just trying to give myself a compliment.
No, we're glad you're on here. We always enjoy. Anything more? Any details? What are you so amazing at? What is some of your knowledge? What people need to know? People might not have seen this, and they want to know, like, why are you an expert? Why are you on here?
Well,
Especially today.
I've been personal training for like 4.5 years.
That's amazing.
Or so. I do like actual like personal training sessions, classes, teach yoga.
Yoga, yes. Yeah. That is nice stuff. So today is a special day for me, I think, because we're going to talk about my favorite muscle, the biggest muscle in the human body, which you're going to go over a little bit. Something that obviously has been kind of a big standpoint on Instagram. People getting us a little bit.
Yeah.
Hump Day is made of those photos. It is something that really is kind of crazy because when I first started training, I'm going to date myself 20 years ago, everybody wanted smaller. But now it seems like we get paid quite a bit of money to, make it bigger. What is that?
Well, your gluteus maximus.
Yes, the gluteus maximus. So,
We're actually going to talk about all three glutes today.
All three glutes. Yeah, so the gluteus maximus is actually the biggest body. So we're going to talk about the booty. The booty is that's the technical term, right?
That's the technical term.
That's in science. Mm-hmm. So Brett Gutierrez would agree. So the booty, Google him if you guys don't know who he is. You'll learn a lot about booty really quick. So booty, we're going to talk about that. Like I said, it's one of the things that a lot of women want and desire. People are working on it. It's kind of the Nicki Minaj, the Cardi B's, the J-Lo's. I think J-Lo was like the pioneer of the booty.
Yeah,
Selena,
right.
I remember that. That was the
Mm-hmm.
one. Did you ever see that movie, Selena?
No.
Really?
I mean, are you talking about
Selena? Okay, well,
no,
go watch it. It's a great movie.
I don't watch movies, but anyways.
It's a good movie. So people seen Selena out there. So anyways, we're gonna talk about the booty. So tell us about the glutes in plural. Why is it glutes?
Because there are 3 glute muscles.
3 glute. Oh. I don't think a lot of people knew that.
Most people probably don't.
Okay.
So you have your gluteus maximus, which is your big one, which is the one that everyone like always thinks of.
Right.
And then you have your glute med, which is the middle-sized glute, significantly smaller than the max. It's on like the side of your hip. And then you have the gluteus minimus, which is the smallest one.
Right.
Which is,
hence the name.
Yeah. So they're appropriately named by size, or at least should be.
Right.
And yeah, so your gluteus minimus is like your smallest one, like we just said, but underneath all 3. And we don't really target that one individually. Kind of works together with the gluteus medius, so it doesn't really get a whole lot of attention on its own.
And I always kind of learned like the glute medius and minimus, we would call the shelf, is kind of superior, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of on top, and that works a lot in different motions. But I know like people that kind of want I would say a booty lift or more of that curve from the lower back. Those are some muscles that you definitely want to target. And like I said, a lot of times people kind of forget those muscles. So how do you go about working those different muscles? Why is it important to know that we have 3 different? Are they just kind of work together and you just work the gluteus maximus, or is there importance of kind of knowing those 3 different muscle groups?
They can all work together depending on like what movement or what exercises that you're doing. But they can also be worked individually or kind of like separate. You can target them individually on their own.
Cool.
So your gluteus minimus is like the stabilizer of the pelvis.
That's important.
It is important.
Right, we have to stabilize
So like
the pelvis.
anytime you're walking, you want that muscle to be firing to help stabilize your pelvis so you're not swinging your hips short like more one way than the other.
Right.
Or you don't fall down,
That's
trip,
important,
or,
right?
you know, important things like that. And then your glute medius is also important in that as well, but has other movements as well. What are you giving me weird looks for?
I don't. I'm just thinking. Glute questions. Got them rolling around in there.
So your glute medius helps to abduct your legs. So bring your knees, your legs out to the side, and also rotates a little bit your hips and works to help flex the hip as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think
So
one thing that we don't
walking.
see as much is lateral movements. And like you said, if you kind of want to build a shelf or hit that muscle a little bit more, that outer side, and give kind of a more, I guess, curve or round shape to the booty, then a lot of lateral stuff should be. We focus a lot of obviously on the sagittal or front back plane, which definitely targets.
Which is also super, super important.
Yeah. So what are some good exercises? Everybody's out there, you know, the women are taking pin down. First off, the question that kind of dawned on me is why do you think women are fascinated right now? I mean, obviously we know why men are fascinated, but why are women more fascinated? Is it because of that, or what's the whole appeal to having a you know, well-developed gluteal muscle, as we say, or a booty?
I mean, I feel like that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, also just for like strength and like longevity. I mean, it's an important muscle to have it to be strong.
Yeah.
And it's something where it hasn't gained a whole lot of attention in the past, probably just because females are a little bit later into resistance training than men are. So men aren't probably wanting to do a lot of like hip thrusts and glute bridges. Oftentimes if they see those movements on their program, they're like, isn't this for girls?
Right, yeah. Or abduction machines or those type of things, yeah.
So I think a lot of that, I think that's relatively new. I mean, it's not new, but relatively new to like resistance training than like some other lifts are. I mean, you have like your primary movements, like your squats and deadlifts and bench press, which I think appeal sometimes a little bit more. Yeah,
it's always funny. I mean, not saying all guys don't like leg day, but it's like funny because, you know, when I have guys are like, I just want to do upper body, bro. Like they want to do all upper body. And then when you have girls like, I want to do all lower body. It's like, we got to do some upper body.
You got to combine the two.
It's weird in those aspects, but I think it's like, you know.
To find a balance between the two.
It's been actually good because I think it has brought women more into strength building. Like I said, when I first started training 20 years ago, everyone wanted smaller. We literally would I was trying to figure out like how to atrophy. Like, okay, you're going to have to starve yourself and run every day because I don't know how to help out with that. And now, you know, most people want to come in and they want to build up their glutes. So what are some ways for women out there to build up their glutes? And guys.
Yeah.
I need a booty too.
It's
important.
You have your primary movements, so like your squats, your deadlifts, your RDLs.
Romanian deadlifts,
thank you. And then any variation of those movements will definitely target your glutes, and they'll be working in any of those movements. Same thing with like your lunges and step ups, things like that. There's definitely ways to make it more hip dominant where your glutes are going to be working a little bit more than
engaged.
Than your quadriceps. In some of those.
So what are some of the movements that the glutes, so like we're looking at like hip flexion and extension, or looking at abduction, like what are some of the movements that work the glutes the most? The most?
Yeah. So I mean, like your hip thrusts and your glute bridges will be the most.
So people sometimes, like I even see that on like programmings, and people ask me like, what's the difference between, what is the difference between a hip thrust and a bridge?
So a hip thrust.
Do we get live demonstrations on YouTube? Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Welcome to our podcast, Tom.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
It's okay. You're all right, buddy. We're talking about glutes. If you wanna add 2 cents.
What's the weight on the trap bar?
The weight on the trap bar.
The bar itself is 45 pounds.
25.
45.
45.
Uh-huh.
It's all right. It's a live show. It's a live show. Welcome to YouTube, Tom. Sign that paperwork when you get done to be able to be released. So anyways, see, it's a live show here at Go Time, and we're always here to help our clients no matter what's going on.
No matter
And
what.
he's doing some trap bar deadlifts, which is a great way to work your glutes and very important for older men and everybody because
Absolutely.
it's very much important. So back to the hip thrust versus bridge scenario situation.
So your glute bridges are going to be like your most popular one, and that's where you're laying on the floor on your back with your knees bent, your feet on the floor, and you're just raising your hips up and then lowering them back down.
Yeah.
Primarily using your glutes and not your lower back. And then your hip thrusts are where your shoulders are elevated on a bench, and then you have that same movement there where
So they're basically the same movement, just one is going to be shoulder elevated. So you could literally call it like a shoulder elevated glute bridge.
Yeah.
But it's now a hip thrust, and that changes
now,
the
now
difference.
it's its own special name.
Right, yeah. Didn't Brett Katera supposedly invent the hip thrust, I think, and the American deadlift, whatever that is. But yeah, and is there a greater, just probably greater range of motion, you're able to add a little bit more load to a hip thrust.
Yes.
Which is important.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of load, is there importance of volume? Because I know, like we talked about today, some of Brett Kateris' old stuff. I'm going to continue to use his name. He's kind of like the glute guru, but he had a lot of high volume stuff, and it was like 4 or 5 days of just all glute with some sprinkled upper body movements in there. Does volume matter? Does load matter? Reps matter? Or how do you feel on that?
Yeah, it all matters.
Right. Well, yeah, it matters, but the specific, I guess.
No, for
load or specific reps or should you do 20 reps for your booty or should you do 6 that are super heavy weight, or is it a combo?
I would definitely say it's a combo. You definitely want to train your glutes for strength, and then obviously if you're wanting to train them for hypertrophy where they're going to grow and have bigger size, that's going to be important. So there you're going to be seeing your lower reps, and for strength. And then a lot of people enjoy testing out their 1 rep max and getting stronger. It's a great way to show that you're stronger in any movement. But then also doing it or doing your exercise for a little bit more endurance where you're seeing higher reps, where you're getting that pump. So, with any muscle and you're going maybe not exactly until failure, but maybe close.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, or going close to failure though, and making the exercise more challenging.
Yeah.
And getting a little more of that endurance and pump with the movement is going to be important.
So I'm listening undulating periodization, kind of a blend potentially, unless you have a specific goal.
Yeah. Your specific goals are important as well. So and some people have preferences where they're because everyone's anatomy is going to be different. Everyone's going to respond to training differently as well. Just have different goals, preferences. And so if there's something where it's I feel my glutes work a lot more in this movement and I don't really feel them as much in this, well, you might not do this one over here very much. You might put it in occasionally because it has other purposes in it. But you also want to find that enjoyment factor with it too. So if there's something where it's
that's always important, right? You got to have something you want to do and continue to do, or it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. Because even if it's something where it's, it's great for, your posture, your strength, but you're just not enjoying it, chances of you continuing it are a lot lower. So finding something where you enjoy
is the biggest factor.
Yeah, your muscles.
And if you're challenging yourself, you should see progress in those things. And that's what's amazing. Another thing with women that now focus on it, it's crazy on how much progress they can make in that area. Which is always fun. And that's one thing that I've read through a lot of different science, that lower body, hips, based on Q angle for women, legs and booty is one thing that women can grow pretty much as dominant as a male. Sometimes, like I said, I got sticks. So a lot of times bigger than my chicken legs here. But
well, I think a bit of that is genetics as well.
Of course, yeah. And that's what I'm saying with women genetics.
Yeah. Because even Brett talks about that, for some females, it's fairly easy, and it doesn't take a whole lot of training for them to just get super big booties. But for other women, it's significantly harder, and they have to train at it for years and really find that perfect mixture between focusing on like the strength hypertrophy, like the strong aspect of it, and then finding that endurance where you're just focused more on the pump and finding that balance, finding which exercises like work really well for you.
Yeah. So it's a little trial and error maybe, and keep practicing and
Yeah.
then and trying those and being consistent, obviously, but seeing what kind of works and what you enjoy and then switching those around. So
Yeah.
we know aesthetically it's nice, and we kind of talked a little bit about like what do you think is such a, I mean, like we keep bringing up Brett, like he came out at the right time and now is a multi-millionaire probably just for building booties. That's like literally what his job is building women's booty. What other benefits of the glutes? Because obviously, there's a lot more to the aesthetics that come with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so anytime you're like standing up from a chair, you're going to be using your glutes. Anytime you're, well, hopefully ideally when you're like bending down to the floor to pick something up, standing back up, those muscles should be engaged as well. They're also used like while you're walking to prevent you from like tripping or like falling off a curb.
Right.
I mean, they help prevent lower back pain.
Yeah, that's a huge one, I think, is stabilizing the lumbar, stabilizing the hips, which a lot of people see through that. And then we have a lot of people with sleeping booty syndrome, which, muscles are always fine, but if you have over tight muscles, so sometimes we see that people that sit all day, they have those tight hip flexors. There's a reciprocal inhibition, but we won't get into that. But basically, the glutes don't fire as well, and like you have synergist dominance, like your quads become more of the feature. And so sometimes that can cause problems with your lower back or just even movements with your knees if you're not activating those glutes and working those in those ways. But once they become very active, it seems like people's backs and a lot of things fix, and even their performance and other things running, like you said.
Become faster, like sprinter, runner.
Yeah, that's cool.
Helps out a lot with those kind of things.
Yeah, so a lot of things with the booty. Is there any, let's see, do we have any other notes in here? Let's see. That was pretty much, that's the most of what we got.
Yeah.
With role play into it. So some good stuff. Maybe we can add like a little like booty exercise thing underneath the comments in the Facebook or wherever this is at. But yeah, it's amazing that people continue. There's a lot of benefits to the glutes. Obviously, I utilize it, I think, in one of my things with people that have lower back, that the two main things that I see a lot of times is that their deep core muscles are not activating and their glutes are not activating. And once sometimes you get those kind of activating, like the brain corresponding to them, you see a lot of times their lower back changes. So there's a lot of benefits other than just being able to post on Instagram on Wednesday, which is a great benefit for many people, I'm sure. But also, it's a thing for aesthetics, just like, guys want bigger biceps. It probably doesn't help them out a lot in their movement. But it is something that they enjoy having in a shirt, and feeling confident about yourself is always always a good thing.
Confidence definitely plays a big part into that.
Yeah, and I mean, I love seeing women crush those hip thrusts and deadlifts and squats. That's always like, it's a good thing to go down there and see all these people doing your programs or other people's programs and crushing those types of lifts.
I agree.
I definitely think guys need to be doing more hip thrusts out there.
Agreed.
Don't be scared. I feel like guys like hip thrusts, even lunges, step ups, sometimes we avoid. Like, we're cool with like hamstring curls, leg extensions, deadlifts, squats, but like once it gets like outside of that, sometimes we don't do as much. So I think hip thrust would be a really good benefit for the guys out there.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to add
just as much
about the booty?
I don't think so.
God, that's only 17 minutes. I feel like we could talk more about the booty. That's got to be at least a 30-minute segment on glutes. And in closing, any closing statements, anything out there for women that just say, I can't build one, or I want to build one, or I want to know more about how I can get these glutes? Any references, anything that you want to add? Putting you on a spot. Don't you love podcasts?
I love podcasts.
I know you do. You said that so much before we came in here.
One of my favorite things to do. If you're struggling to build your booty, stick with it.
Yeah.
Just keep going. It's going to take time, and you have to push yourself hard.
Yeah.
I think that's something that some people get nervous with, is they don't want to push themselves to where they can't do a whole lot more. But in order to build, I mean, this is true for like any muscle or strength anywhere, you have to push yourself, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult.
But you can do it.
But you can do it. Yep.
And if you need a little motivation and guidance and somebody to create the ultimate glute booty workout, they can come see you, right?
Absolutely.
They can call up
Be
here
happy to help.
and there you go. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for talking about the booty. That was great to do that for 18 minutes. So hopefully this is a podcast that everybody enjoys and gets a lot out of. We appreciate everybody out there. So Kelsey and I are signing off. Andrea's coming in. Tom will probably be back here to ask us something. All right. Have a good one. Thank you very much, guys. Go work that booty hard. Bam. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. If you enjoyed today's show and want to get started with your own fitness journey, I'd love to help kickstart your goals. How do 4 60-minute personal training sessions for $99 with me sound? Head over to www.gotimetraining.com/podcast to claim yours. I can't wait to meet you.